Words have power. I decided to set up a bulletin board with some words of encouragement and inspiration for myself. I have it next to my writing area in my workroom, so I can always look up and be inspired. The first corner that I set up is based on fish philosophy. And you may have heard about this, and it's based on a fish market in Seattle where a group of employees have a great time during their workday, and it's their philosophy that has inspired so many others. I've attended a number of workshops based on this, and I've also had their book. It comes down to 4 simple steps. The first, make their day. So when you're interacting with someone, whether it's in person or through social media, focus on being positive and uplifting other people. Whether you can give them a chuckle or a smile or a happy thought, focus on making their day. Below that, with the clouds, we have, of course, choose your attitude. And this is something that I truly wish more people would think about, because as the beginning of the video said, words have power, and your attitude impacts how those words come across and then ripple out to impact the other people who hear them. So focus on what is your attitude and the message that you want to pass along to other people. At the top, we have the little hat and the words play, because of course it's important to remember every day to do something that is fun and relaxing. It doesn't have to be a long time, just something for enjoyment, whether that's coloring, having social time with friends, reading a book, whatever it is that brings you into that place of peace. Another factor, and we have here a young boy with his dog, is be there. When you're interacting with someone, focus on the conversation, focus on the time that you have together. Whether you're playing with your fur kids or interacting with humans, the priority is be in that moment, enjoy the time that you have, and make the most of it. For those of us who have lost people throughout our lives, both human and fur and feather, it is crucial, and we're aware of just how precious those moments are. So when you have them, make the most of them. For the middle of my board, I decided to put up the word perspective to remind myself what I'm focused on and thinking about. So I just used some old paper and my pencil crayons to color things in, and I had some glow-in-the-dark stickers to just jazz it up a bit. So I figured putting it in the middle of the board made sense because, of course, what your perspective is and what you're focused on and thinking about is going to have that ripple effect to everything else and impacts your day and your interactions with other people. At the top, I have a cloth heart, and this belonged to my grandmother. She loved to sew, and this was her pincushion. I also love that it has some of the flowers, and it reminds me of my heritage, which I come from a Hungarian background. So these beautiful flowers remind me not only of my grandmother, but where I came from. And I believe that is crucial, because if you forget where you came from and you forget what came before, how can you possibly know whether you've made progress and you're moving forward in the right direction? Near the bottom of the board, I placed my Reiki symbols. Thank you to Spooky Dookie for reminding me about this. So I put up the symbols. These are cards that I received during one of my trainings, so I always have them there to remind me about Reiki. And then I put on a card just for today the 5 principles of Reiki. They are: don't get angry, don't worry, be grateful, work hard, be kind. 5 very important things to remember, particularly as we're coming up to December, and this can be a very difficult and challenging time for people. There are a lot of things going on, not just in December. There are so many things happening in our world right now. So it really is important to focus on one, just for today. In other words, we can all do those 5 things for a 24-hour period. And then tomorrow, you do it again. The other important thing to remember is maybe it's a day where you didn't do one of those 5 things. So recognize you're human. We all make mistakes. Forgive yourself, be kind to yourself, and remember, it's just for today, and tomorrow you wake up and you try again. Originally, I had this card to remind myself that energy flows with intention. So what you're thinking about, what you're focusing on, is where energy is going to go and what you're going to see. I decided to switch this card up a bit. So I found another card and I added some glow-in-the-dark stickers, words that are important to me, so gratitude, patience, guidance, remembering the flow, self-esteem, community, and a few others. And I colored in around it. I used the original Energy Follows Intention, and that's a reminder for me to stay in the present, be mindful of my thoughts and the ripple effect that not only those thoughts have, but the words that I choose to use. I decided to place it in the corner of my board instead of up at the top, so it's right beside my grandmother's beautiful heart, and both of those remind me to stay on track. Near the bottom, and I switched things up, I redid my Just for Today sign. I added the 4 purposes from Dan Millman. I also added the 4 agreements. And I put in the corner the focus of my YouTube channel. So it always reminds me when I'm making a video and doing editing what it is I want to focus on. So I've already talked about the Just for Today principles of Reiki. Beside it are the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your words. Don't take things personally. Don't assume, as in make assumptions, which tends to often make an ass of the person who's making the assumption. And do your best. They're 4 very important things to keep in mind daily, whatever you're doing and whoever you're interacting with. Underneath the little orange decal sticker that I have are the 4 principles from Dan Millman's book. They focus on life lessons, so be mindful when things happen. What is the lesson that you can learn and incorporate into your life? Whether that's being more patient, being careful about the words you use. Think of it as a life lesson, not the universe trying to give you a kick in the katukas. The next point is about career and calling and what is the difference. For some people, a career is simply how you make money to pay the bills. A calling is what you are passionate about. It makes your heart sing, and sometimes people are lucky to have the career and calling, the same thing, so not only do they get to do what makes their heart sing, as I did as an educational assistant, but you also get paid to do it, which means you can cover your bills and do some fun shopping as well. The next is focus on your life path. What is your purpose for being here? What is the direction you're going in? And understand that sometimes, just like in the real world, there are detours due to a variety of things. The Alchemist certainly talks about that as well. And eventually you always get to where you're going. The final point or purpose that Dan Millman talked about is this moment. It comes up with Eckhart Tolle as well as other authors and motivational speakers. Same with the fish philosophy, which I just talked about. Be in the now. What is going well in this present moment? And no matter what else is going on, there is at least one thing you can find to be grateful for or consider a blessing. Whether that's having someone to support you, having a roof over your head, being able to go on a vacation, whatever it is, because you also need to be mindful. Different things are important and special to all of us. So acknowledge what that special is for you. Next, I included my channel focus because I thought it was important to have this on the board as a reminder, especially when I'm doing editing and I'm sitting right next to this board. So I focus on things like research and the importance of it, the importance of reading and the enjoyment and love of reading. I want to encourage people to think and contemplate different things, whether they're reading a book or watching a video. I, of course, stress the importance of books. I want to empower people so that they feel better about themselves, about their learning styles and their own strategies, and just overall feeling better. Nature, of course, if you've seen some of my videos, is a huge factor for me, whether that's being outdoors in my yard and enjoying the variety of life out there, insect, fur, feather, and mineral and plant, whether it's my fur kids or the feral colony that is here in the area. Nature is very important. I also want to focus on questions. When people, myself included, whether you're doing research or reading something just for enjoyment, I'm always asking, does this make sense? Does this fit? Is this something that I can incorporate into my own life? How can I improve things based on this material? It also comes to questioning, what are you seeing and what are you following? What was the motivation for someone putting out content or publishing a book? All of that is extremely important. I really cannot stress enough the importance of questioning your sources and the material that you come across. It is important to keep in mind, why is some of this information and material out and about, being all over social media or being published, what have you. I believe it is important to really keep in mind what you're reading and the motivation for that material being present. There's a lot of different reasons for that, and not just something like either someone may be clickbait and trying to get views. The other thing to consider, especially if you're reading nonfiction material, is how well did the author, publisher, content creator research their own material, and are they presenting something accurately, clearly, and concisely? I've read a number of books over the years, and I've since passed them on either to other people who I thought would enjoy them more or to my local thrift store because it just wasn't material for me. I always, when I'm reading certain material, think about, does this fit? Is it something I can incorporate into my everyday life? That type of thing. And like I say, being careful about how well has the author researched the material. I'm always leery of a book that took an author less than a year or two, particularly nonfiction, because for the topic, say, for example, something like the Templars or the Masons or even archaeology, there's so much information to delve through and process and factors involved like different calendars, different motivations, different timelines, etc., that you really need to stop and ask yourself, is this information accurate and was it well researched? Another word is inspire. It's something that I am definitely interested in doing with my channel, both to inspire a love of reading, to encourage people to accept themselves where they're at, and that's okay, you're enough, inspire research and interest in a variety of topics. So I definitely have that up there to remind myself about that, and again, being careful about the words that I use to do that. Community is definitely key because, of course, the more people who are watching and commenting, the better things are. Not just for me in terms of a content creator, but for the folks who come by and communicate together, share thoughts, ideas, and resources. It's something that I definitely think about. I want this community to remain positive, encouraging, and a place that people can stop by and either have a chuckle from some of my videos, find something of interest, whether that's a fictional book, a non-fictional book, or strategies to keep ourselves in a great place, feeling good about ourselves, and moving forward through the day with a positive attitude and a smile on our face. I always say, keep smiling. It makes other people wonder what you're so damn happy about all the time. The last word on my card for channel focus is, of course, my fur kids. I feature some who we have sadly had to say goodbye to over the years on my Friday teehees. And I also feature Xena, Panther, and Tiki, our newest addition, who I am very grateful to have with me. They brighten my day, they keep me company, and hopefully they cheer up people as well as they pop into some of my videos unexpectedly sometimes, but they are definitely a bright spot, as are the feral colony cats outside. You may have seen Lily in some of my other videos. I've also had Hope in some of the pictures, and there's also Chin and Goldie. So our colony is now down to 4. It was 18 a number of years ago. So thanks to Trap, Neuter, Release, we've definitely made a difference there. If you watched my Halloween video, you also met Sweet Pea and the boy, 2 ferals who sadly are no longer with us. In fact, we're coming up to 1 year since our beautiful little Sweet Pea had come into our home and we sadly had to say goodbye to her a few days later as she was just so sick. Below my board, I added a few extra cards. I came across 3 of these sayings as I was getting some of my paperwork organized, and I decided it would be good to add them up there. The first, don't give up. Great things take time. Be the change you want to see, and every day is a new beginning. Take a deep breath and start again. Below that, I use some of my fancy tape because I love sparkles and shiny things. I added a card with a list of priorities, so words that are important and qualities. And then I also added focusing on what helps me stay in harmony. So the yard, certainly, and writing and journaling. What helps me to relax, reading and doing crafts, and what gives me growth and inspiration is, of course, social time with friends and doing research. Both of those help in terms of communication, getting new ideas and thoughts. So like I said, the board is sitting next to my desk where I do my editing and my writing. I do some of my research. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you have a bulletin board or another strategy that you use to help you stay in a positive place, get your thoughts on track, remind you of being impeccable with your words, how your words and your attitude have a ripple effect and impact on other people? If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give that like button a little tickle if you found it to be of benefit. If you're still here, leave me a thumbs up or a little smiley face in the comments down below, as that also helps my channel to grow, I should say our channel and our community, because I really hope that this is getting out to people and having a positive impact. That's certainly my main focus for doing this type of thing. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, keep in mind I have a wide variety of subjects, as JP reminds me, and it always makes me laugh. I am definitely quirky and eclectic. If you're into that type of thing and you get that, then please be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload content that may be of interest to you. And I'm finishing this video with something a little different. If you've seen my community post, yes, I am wearing my paper clothes, and if you're wondering what that means, I explain that in my community post, so be sure to check that out. Paper clothes? What am I talking about? On a recent visit to La Vienne en Rose, I found in their discount section wonderful items that are made from recycled paper. Here I'm showing off my pants and matching top, which are super soft and comfortable. One of the upsides to being at home and being able to dress for comfort versus having to be out and about. Of course, trying to take a selfie isn't quite as easy as it sounds, and here Xena and Panther are having a great chuckle as they've watched me try to take about 5 different pictures before I finally got one that I could upload. Until next time, as always, thank you so much for the gift of your time. It is greatly appreciated, and have a great one.